You see your boy sweating. I was getting it in. Great morning. Man, I'm fired up. San Diego in the house, Oklahoma, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. Let's get it. Keep throwing where you're from. Ricky from LA, I see you. Chrissy from LA. You guys, it's a new month. It's Monday. Already going for goals. You going for goals? Type a 1 in the chat if you're going for goals. If you're watching this live recording, you know, just holler out the window, you know. Let people know I'm going for goals. You guys, it's a new month. We're in October. 31 days, right? It's a big old month. I feel like this is like a kahuna month. So much time to smash goals. It's beginning of the month. It's on a Monday. You guys, it's like everything's aligning. I'm fired up. Now, I want you to put in the chat a 10 if you're already working towards your 2019 goals. You might be like, what? It's October. If you're on this and it's October 1st and you're pushing, you're already creating 2019's momentum. So I want to really shout you guys out because people are going to be looking at you weird come the new year when you're getting so much success and they're like, what? And they're like, yo, if you haven't started already in October, the new year doesn't start in January. It starts right damn now. And I'm so fired up. If you're going for health goals, they start right now, baby. If you're going for financial goals, if you're an Herbalife distributor, entrepreneur on the line, your business goals start right now. Whatever you're going for, we get into it right now. So I'm so fired up. The chat is already on fire. Thanks for giving it life. We're going to be listening to this video with 12 common mistakes that entrepreneurs make. I was listening to like the first 2 and I had to stop because I was like, man, I want to share this with Triple M. So you can learn from everybody. You can learn what to do. You can also learn what not to do, right? They're both valuable pieces of information. So this is a successful entrepreneur, but he's sharing all the things not to do. So let's get into it. Get your notebooks out. We're going to get some live shares at the end. And without further ado, let's get into Triple M.
The dumbest mistake I almost made my first year as an entrepreneur is I almost quit. I almost quit. I almost believe I couldn't do this. I almost believed being an entrepreneur wasn't for me. I almost believed that everyone that said, Pat, you don't have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, I almost believed it and I almost gave up. Almost. I almost quit my first year as an entrepreneur. That would have been above everything else the dumbest mistake I would have made as an entrepreneur. Number 2, I tried to become a CEO, president too early. And let me explain to you what I mean. Trying to organize too much too early. When you are a brand spanking new entrepreneur, I did a video last week. It was called A Phone Call to Starving Entrepreneurs. You can see the picture here. It's a phone call I made. It's like a 4-minute video. If you haven't listened to it, you click on the link on the bottom. You'll be able to listen to it. My message was very simple. See, when I think about the word entrepreneur, right? When I think about the word entrepreneur, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For instance, if I were to tell you right now, what's the first word that comes to mind when I say Microsoft? What do you think about? You may say Bill Gates. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say Apple? You may have said Steve Jobs. What's the first word that comes to mind when you think about the Lakers? You may have said Kobe. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I say Chicago Bulls? Michael Jordan. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Golden State Warriors? Steph Curry. Whatever it is, that first word, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say the word entrepreneur to you? What is it? What is it? I don't want to say mine yet. What's your first? First. See, to me, entrepreneur, first is sales and numbers. Now, you may have said create a problem, solve a problem, If you don't know how to sell and you don't look at the world of business as a number formula you got to solve, you're not, because the only way an entrepreneur is because entrepreneurs sell something. Zuckerberg sells, Bezos sells, Elon Musk sells. They are salesmen first. Sam Walton sold first. Ben Franklin was a salesman first. An entrepreneur must first learn how to graduate. Sales first. Back in the days when you moved up in a company, the way everybody came to the top of the company, it wasn't like how it is today when people go get a fancy degree and then they start off at a, vice president. Back in the days when you worked out by the company, everybody started selling first. Why? Because you had to know what it was to be a salesperson, touching the customers, talking to the customers, and connecting with everybody else as an executive that you know what the salespeople do on a daily basis. If you don't know what salespeople do on a daily basis, you don't know how to connect with them. And you don't know how to connect with the customer, his frustration, her frustration. So my biggest mistake first year was I tried to be too much of a business owner instead of learning how to sell first and survive based on my selling abilities of making money as a salesperson. Dumbest mistake I made was number 2 dumbest mistake I made. Number 3, trying to take advice from too many people. Let me tell you what I mean by trying to take advice from too many people. if you're not pregnant yet, or if you haven't, you as a woman are not pregnant, have never been pregnant, or you haven't been a man with a wife who hasn't been pregnant yet, when that does happen, and if it has, you know exactly what I'm talking about, everybody wants to give you advice. Let me tell you what's the best thing to do. You want to have a natural baby. You want to do C-section. You want to do this. You want to take Pitocin. You want to do that. You want to go do this. You want to take the epidural. You know, I want to do this because everyone's, and whatever they tell you, they're telling you because that's what they did. Just know this. And when you raise your kids, that's the best way to raise your kids. The way we raise our kids because we put them through this and we put them through that and we put them through this. That's great. Everyone has opinion. And by the way, this doesn't mean they're wrong. And it doesn't mean they're right. It's their opinion. The way I take opinion from the people is, here's what I had to do. I took way too much advice from way too many people. My first mentor was in 9 different sales companies at the same time, selling 9 different products. And he told me that's the way to do it. Multiple streams of income. I realized that's not the way to do it. Not the way to do it. It still is not working for him. That was my first mentor at 20 years old. 21 years old. I took it, trying to take advice from way, way too many people instead of simplify. Who has the life that you want to have, and what are they doing at the phase that you were at in business? What were they doing at that phase? Sometimes we don't take the right type of advice because we see somebody that's already got the lifestyle that we want. They come at the office at 11 o'clock and they do this, and we think we have to have that life. No, I want to know how you were when you were in the hunt building your business. So take advice from people who have the life that you have and ask them how they did and what they did when they were at your level getting started, not at their level. It's irrelevant what they're doing at their level. It's at your level. So take advice from established entrepreneurs. I took advice from too many people that gave me too many different opinions, and my brain was going all over the place until I finally realized this is what I'm doing myself. Number 4, not knowing how to ask for advice. Not knowing how to ask for advice. So sometimes, because you're an employee, and you want to become an entrepreneur, an employee doesn't necessarily ask for advice. An employee is told what to do and you go do it. No one goes and says, so how do you think I become a better employee? Very few people ask, how do I become a better employee? How do I become better in my department? Most employees, I don't like this place, boom, I leave. Oh, I don't like this place, they don't take care of me, boom, I leave. Oh, I don't like this. Instead of, in my environment, I'm kind of like, you come tell me what we need to do. You come ask me what we need to do to get better. What do we need to do to make this department better? What do we need to do to make the company better? I want to hear from you. But most companies are not like that. Most companies, the employees are told what to do and they do it, right? So when you go from being an employee to an entrepreneur, your mind hasn't yet shifted to go into, asking for advice. And as an entrepreneur, when you go into becoming an entrepreneur, you got to learn how to ask advice from the right people. Kind of point number 3 and 4 is the same thing, but learning how to ask advice from the right people. How do I do this? When you were at my phase, how did you do this? When you were new like me, what did you do? Not where you are now. I hear sometimes on some conference call, so, hey, you made $193,000 last month. What did you do this month? Anything they did this month means nothing to you. You got to ask them, when you were making $3,200 a month like I am today, and you were at this level when you only had 17 customers, what were you doing every single day? That's the right question on how to ask for advice. Them making 196 is the final product. That means nothing to you. What were you doing at this phase? If you want to sell yourself to dream and be excited, that's fine. I understand that. But if you want to know how-tos, you got to ask what they were doing when they were at your level. Point number 5, forcing versus influencing. I try to force too much. I force too much on my clients, on my staff members, on my sales force. My first year, oh my gosh, I was just way too much about forcing people to become successful, forcing people to realize why they made the decision to. It was just too much force, way too much force, instead of trying to influence. It's almost like trying to manage everyone's success instead of leading. And finally, I just said, you know what? This is putting way too much pressure on me than anybody else, because their success is predicated on me. If they don't succeed, then I said, you know what? I got to set an example of success, and then I'm going to lead and influence them with my example. That took weight off my shoulder, and they enjoyed my style of leadership because it was purely influential. It was more about example than it was about, you better do this, you better do that. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It was more about, here's what I did. Here's what I'm doing. This is what's working for me. This is what I suggest. Here's what I request. I had to learn by a ton of mistakes on going from force to influence, from managing to just leading and setting an example. Point number 7, Living the dream, point number 6, living the dream too early. Living the dream too early. What does that mean, living the dream too early? When I started the business, I made some money, so I went and got a brand spanking new car, big car payment, was driving everybody around. I was going to the, out and buying drinks for everybody and partying, and hey, Pat's in the house, it's so cool, what up, Pat, and I was good in the party scene because I like that. So, oh my gosh, and so lifestyle big, going to Vegas, spending 10 grand on a weekend when I don't even have $10,000. It's okay. The money is coming on future success and future sales. Boom! Lost everything. Money, girl, car, everything. Gone. First year, gone. Wiped out. Credit card score 484. Everyone's calling, collecting debt. You're one. Okay? That's what happened when I try to live the dream too early. Way too early. Now, I think there's a mistake as well trying to delay it too long as well, because, people also want to see that you're expanding in your life too. There's got to be a part of that that's taking place, that you're expanding in your life too. But living the dream too early, trying to act as if way too early, I don't think that's a benefit either. Because at the end of the day, the number one rule of being in business is what? To stay in business. You got to make sure you're staying in business to be able to have a shot at growing your business. And living the dream too early, living too large too early can backfire on you. Next, number 7, trying to sell too many products as an entrepreneur. So I'll give you a story for myself. I remember when I first chose the financial industry. So I got started with Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, and I'm getting my Series 7, 66, 31, 26 Life and Health. I'm going to go into the financial industry, okay? I got started day before 9/11. My first day in Morgan Stanley Dean Witter was a Monday, was 9/10. 9/10/2001 is the day before 9/11. And I got involved. It was probably the worst time to be involved in the financial industry. Market tanked about 1,000 points the next day. 9/11 happens. No one wants to buy stocks, mutual funds. No one wants to talk to an advisor. Market kept going lower and lower. Trust in the market was down. Fear, war, anxiety, panic. No one wanted to deal with anything, right? And I saw mortgages start climbing up. And that's when Negam, if you've seen the movie The Big Short, who's in The Big Short? The Big Short has who? It has... I want to say Ryan Gosling is in A Big Short. Who's the funny guy from The Office? What's the funny guy's name from The Office? Steve Carell? Steve Carell's in The Big Short. Actually, some pretty big shot actors on the Big Short. Christian Bale, Brad Pitt, yeah. So, the whole thing is about the Negam business. Mortgages, where pick a payment, negative amortization, whatever you want to call this program that came from Australia. There you have 4 payments. You can pay the 15-year loan, the 30-year loan, the interest only, or the negative amortization, which whatever payment you're making, your loan gets bigger and bigger every single month. So everybody, hey, buy this house. I know it's a $720,000 house, but you only need to make a payment of, $1,920. And who knows, 5 years from now, it may go up. And then boom, it went up. But I was tempted to get into the mortgage world. And I saw all these people doing it. I made 28 grand, I made 200 grand, this guy made 400 grand, this guy made 600 grand last month, and he's doing this. Everybody in LA wanted to get into this. I was this tempted. Nothing wrong with the guys that did it. People who did it the right way made a lot of money, more power to them. But I had chosen the insurance and the financial industry. That's the industry I chose. And I was tempted this close. One weekend I came back and one guy was kicking my butt. This one guy was completely kicking one of my competitors was killing me. And I'd have to go and sit in the room and just watch this guy beating everybody up. Mortgage. And so I said, we also need to do mortgage. He's also doing escrow. He's also doing real estate. He's also doing this. He's also doing that. He's also doing title. He's got his money, all this other. We have to try to become like a bank, and we have to do property and casualty as well, and we have to do tax services as well, and we have to do. And I said, nope. Went back to the book, Blue Ocean Strategy. And Blue Ocean Strategy said, get leaner, get tighter, fewer products, focus on a product. That's what's going to work. And not having read that book, I read it afterwards, realizing by pure luck I made the right decision. But I was this close of selling many different products instead of being focused about a product. The challenge as an entrepreneur is when you choose an industry, there's going to be booms happen in a lot of different industries, whatever industry you're going to choose. And there's always an industry that seems more sexier. I wish I would have came out with the next Snapchat, the next Instagram, the next Facebook, the next Twitter. It just seems it's more sexy to come out with the Groupon or to come out with this, I just wish I would have, our business is boring, I wish I wasn't in this boring type of, it doesn't matter. I am gonna more hedge my money towards the guy that's all in an industry to master that industry than I am with the guy that's constantly trying to chase the next big thing that's taking place. And I watch guys, they went from Negam, from mortgages into REO to short sale to real estate to, you know, commercial to modification to selling gold to debt settlement to credit repair to credit restoration to so many, 25 different things. And I kept telling everybody, sell one product, man. Sell one product, one product, one product. Can you do that? Sell one product. And I almost made that mistake and it cost me my business.
Man, my man is dropping nuggets right now. I showed you guys the video. It was fire. All right, so let's hear from Rox. What does Rox have?
All right. What's up, you guys? Great freaking morning. I love this video. It's really good. I loved how you went on to talk about his mistakes. And two of my biggest takeaways, I really loved how he said, don't take advice from everyone. And this is so true. I remember, for instance, when I first got started, right, with Herbalife, and at first you're so excited, you're on fire, and you're like, I'm just gonna take everything and I'm just gonna go ahead and do everything. And it's just that's not the way. You know, as the years have progressed and over the last 5.5 years, I truly have learned that you can't take advice from everyone. And the people that I like to take advice from are the people who have, just exactly what he said, who have what I want, who have exactly what I'm going for as far as my next goal. And I think it's so important that we do that, because it's so easy to get unfocused when we start to listen to everyone. And then sometimes, most of the time, we'll start to listen to people who don't even have anything that we want. And we'll let all these bad seeds maybe get planted, or we'll let these things of people that are not doing what is necessary in order to get to the next level. So it's okay, pay attention and listen and look at who's doing the work, who's doing the numbers, because remember, you guys, numbers are everything in business, right? And so you got to pay attention at who's actually growing, who's in momentum, who's doing the work, and then just go and ask. And I love how he said, go ask for advice. You know, it's so crazy because even for myself and for ourselves, you know, we have a big organization. It's a handful of people who will actually reach out and say, hey, I need some help. Hey, how can I get better? And it's a very handful of people. And it's for me, it kind of baffles my mind, because I'm just we share exactly what we're up to. We share our income, and it's just why wouldn't you keep on asking advice to people who are where maybe you want to get to in the future, you know? And that's one of the things that for me, I love to get around people who are doing the work and always asking for advice. Hey, how can I get better? Look at this. What do you think I can implement? What do you think I can add? What do you think I can do better? Where are you? All those kinds of things make the biggest difference inside of our business. And it's we have to get out of that mindset of well, I know everything, or my ego's too big, I'm not going to ask for help because I'm going to figure it out. That's the easiest way to fail inside of what we do, you know? So the biggest thing is asking people for advice, you know, even for us, we still do our mentor calls and stuff like that with our uplines and sponsors. And it's just hey, we don't know everything. And when we get on calls, I'm just cool. So what do we have to do? You have exactly what we want. You have where we want to go. What do we do? And tell us so we can do it. And you just got to have that mindset of hey, I'm just going to take advice from people who have what I want and be willing to ask for advice.
Yeah, it's so powerful. I'll tell you guys, that's the difference. It's really on Triple M, and one of your biggest things in life that'll make the difference for you is working on how you think, because your thoughts create your actions create your reality and results. So one of the biggest things to understand, if you can really get this concept, it'll change your life, is that voice is going to pop up. I think some people think only they have the voice and nobody else has a voice. No, everybody has a voice that comes up in their head and says, you already know. You don't need to ask that person. What do they know? It always comes up with a reason to justify. It wants to protect you, and it also wants to keep you safe. Guess where you're safe? In your room, not talking to anybody. That's where you're safe. So that's really where it want to keep you. But you've got to understand, if you can really get this, write this down on your paper as I'm saying it. This will change your life. I'm looking at the videos who's writing, so I'm going to know who's playing full out. My life right now is because of my thinking right now. So a new life requires new thinking. And then at the bottom, I've got to find who can teach me those thoughts that will equal my new life. If you can get that formula, Prez has already got it. She's fired up, right? That's the secret to life, because this is what's going to happen. That voice is going to come up and say, you don't need to reach out to a mentor. You don't need to reach out to a sideline if you're a distributor on Herbalife. You don't need to reach out to your upline. You don't need to read that book. You don't need to be on the team training. You don't need to be at the Herbalife event. You don't need to read that book. Why? Because the voice wants to keep you safe. But if you can understand that your current thinking has gotten you to where you are, but will get you no further, then you'll realize that you must chase new ideas. So that's really crucial, you guys. And I love that. And a really crucial thing to understand is you find somebody that has the life you want. Yes, this is so, I don't know how, I'm not going to say it's not common, because I didn't really get this till later too, but I don't know how it's not taught more. Like, it's really, really baffling how many people chase, and myself included at one time, they chase a life that if they got it, they would hate it. You know, so many people chase wanting to have money and wanting to have success, but they look at the people that traded their health and their family and their happiness for success. Would you want those things? So always, always be aware of who has the whole life that you want, not just the bank account, not just the accolades, not just the title. Who has the whole life that you want? Then, this is crucial, you go to them and you ask them questions, because most people are willing to share with you, but you got to know what to ask. He says, don't say, what are you doing now? Say, what did you do before that got you to the now? And this is really crucial. Do you want to share something? She's like pointing at something for me to share, but I can't read in the middle.
Exactly the question, because I think it's crucial that when you ask questions, like there's a certain way to ask questions, and he labeled it like this, or he said it like this. He said, when you were at this level, what were you doing in that phase? So there you go.
There we go. That was a guest question. She was like pointing at it on the side like I can read and talk at the same time.
Yeah, you can.
So this is a crucial thing. You know why? Because this is we're attacking that voice, because this is what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you this is what's going to happen. The voice is going to pop up and say, no, it can't be that simple. It can't be that easy. There must be something else you're not telling me. Because the person's probably going to say, like, work hard, get up early, stay up late, seek mentors, do the work every day, and stay consistent. And you're going to say, no, it's not that. When you guys, it is that. You got to realize, how does an oak go from an acorn to an oak? From being small, every day growing. There is no skipping from an acorn to an oak. You can't skip steps. During my personal development, during my workout this morning, you really want to take your mindset next level, stop listening to music during your workout. Only listen to personal development. There's music in the back too, right? You'll be hearing some stuff. It said people want to skip, and they say, well, this acorn and this oak, an acorn is like this big, an oak is hundreds of feet. They're like, well, how did it get there? Day by day. People want the secret. There's no secret. It's day by day. There is no skipping steps in life. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to chase new knowledge. You're going to have to put it on. You're going to have to go the extra mile. There's no skipping steps. If you can get that, then you'll get this last thing I want to leave you with, which I really like. He said, stop trying to do too many things and focus in. Focus in. When Roxy and I decided on Herbalife, health and wellness, we said we're going all in. I know so many people, you know, online, they sell bands, they sell perfume, they sell books, they sell workout videos, they sell Herbalife, they sell selfies, they sell, hey, it's my birthday, send me some money on my Cash App. They sell everything. Why? Because they're just selling things. But if you heard him, he said, I'll take somebody who's going to go deep on something and master. Because if you guys can really get this is going to change your life. It's not about how wide you go. It's about how deep you go, because there's people in every single sector. In sector, I mean health, fitness, selling, business. There's people in every sector that make a lot of income. So it's not the sector you're in. It's how deep in the sector you're in. That's what people don't get. They're looking for the secret place, the secret business, the secret trend. There's no secret. It's all about depth. There's people that are librarians that are millionaires. Did you know that? There's people that are librarians that are millionaires. Why? They've gone really deep in their library knowledge, and they can own branches of libraries, or what they've learned at the library, they apply to their finances and become a millionaire. They went deep in. You might be like, no, librarian ain't making shit. There's librarians out there that make more than you. Why? They doubled down on their thing. Now, there's people in Herbalife that come around to Herbalife every couple of months. I'll try something. Okay, let me learn a little bit. And then there's people that say, hey, I'm going to take what I learned as far as work ethic from school, from my job. I'm going to pour it into Herbalife. And then it pays them off like that. Because there's people that make $1 in Herbalife, and there's people that make 6, 7, 8 figures in Herbalife. How could there be that difference? Because of how deep they go. I ask you this, do you know the marketing plan? Do you know all 200 products and what they do and what their benefits are and ingredients? Do you know the different methods of operation in Herbalife? Fit Camp, 3-day trial, nutrition club, social media, online challenge. Do you know all the promotions in Herbalife right now? Distributor action plan, sponsoring and mentoring, Hawaii vacation, President's Team vacation, Chairman's and Founders Circle vacation, honors at Singapore, Future President's Team retreat. A lot of you guys are looking at me like, how can you name them off like that? You guys, we go deep. Go deep. It's all on my Herbalife site if you're a distributor. Have you just combed over that thing? That's deep. All right, let's get it. So let's get a few takeaways. I'm seeing some people like really locked in. Let's get it. Terrell said, biggest takeaway I ever heard. Let's get it. Terrell up here getting nuggets. Let's get Madi. What's your biggest takeaway? Give us a nugget. I see you like focused in. What you got?
Morning.
Good morning.
When he asked the question, when he has the question entrepreneur, he's like, what is that first thing comes to your mind? I put more problems in a good way. Because the more problems you have is because you're doing something right.
Nice. You become a problem solver. Love it. Love it. You got one more?
One more. And then coming back to like when you're a distributor and trying to help people, either lose weight, gain weight, or just get energy, you have to meet them at where they at, not where you at, because that will be the factor for you to keep them as a customer or just like ignore you completely. So you have to meet people where they at, not where you are currently. You are attracting them because how you look right now, but they're probably not there yet. So you have to meet them when you were at that position.
Yes, I love it. Meet them where they're at, bring them to where they want to go. Mm-hmm. That's going to make the difference for you as a coach. I love it. Great takeaways, Monty. Let's get it. My boy, Steven Prime. First time on Triple M. Let me see if I can unmute you. See if you can unmute, Steve. Give us a biggest takeaway from today.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody?
What up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you was going to. That's why I went and grabbed my earphones and came outside real quick.
Let's get it.
Yeah, one of the biggest takeaways was finding the person and knowing exactly how to ask them. Instead of looking at them where they are actually right now, asking them about where they are right now. Like, like knowing the question to say, hey, RoxAndAubs, you guys were at this position. What were you doing? How was the grind? Because basically the answer to that is exactly the answer to what you need to know for you to take your next step to get to the level. And also, next thing that was mentioned was, and I think this is something that you just said, and how to reach out to whomever you need to for mentorship. Like that is something that I am big on. I believe in not taking advice from other people because I feel as if like you could literally crash and burn. So for me right now, as you know, my focus is like literally just waiting for the next words from you guys. Not going to everyone and asking everyone for whatever their opinion is, because to me, really and truly, it doesn't matter. So whenever it comes, I absorb it, I take action in me, and that's basically it. Did I answer the question?
That was
For
it,
you
man.
guys?
Fired up. Man, great stuff, Steven. And you guys, the reason why this is a key, you want to get mentorship, but this is how you get it. Me and Steven, Roxy and I met Steven at the SCS, sitting VIP, he qualified for the vacation, always working hard. He came to us and he said, yo, man, I want to learn a little bit more about social media. I said, okay, we'll teach you a little bit. Post 6 times a day for 2 weeks and we'll talk. He just walked away and said, okay. I saw him posting. He came back. We talked more. So earn the mentorship by your actions. People want to help people consistent. But if you're wondering why maybe you're not getting mentorship, it's probably because how you're showing up isn't earning the mentorship. Because this is what a person knows for to be true. They can't mentor non-action. It doesn't matter how many nuggets you drop on somebody. If they're not in action, it does not matter. Nothing's going to change. Change requires different thoughts, different actions, creating different results. So earn that mentorship by being in action and being a student. This is one thing to ask yourself. I'm going to leave you guys with this as we get off of here. Shout out to Terrell. He said, man, my first month made extra 800 and stopped. Got to keep going, bro. Never stop. Let me tell you what that was. That was limiting beliefs. So you got to attack those things. Anytime you stop when you're getting success, it's a limiting belief. I don't deserve it. I can't keep it up. Something's going to happen. I'll tell you, one of mine used to be the tax man. My dad said, stay out of the government stuff. Don't get, I felt like if we made too much money, tax man was going to come. It was just a stupid belief. I want to pay a lot of taxes. Why? It means we're making a lot of money. So attack these limiting beliefs because they'll slow you down and you won't even see them there in your blind spots. But this is it, you guys. Ask yourself when you get off of this, who am I getting mentoring from? Who am I getting? Because guess what? You're getting mentored by somebody. You just may not know it. A lot of people get mentored by Cardi B. A lot of people get mentored by J-Lo. A lot of people get mentored by Drake. A lot of people get mentored by the latest movie that comes out. I'm being so honest. But you've got to understand there's a double-edged sword to capitalism. And I mean that by capitalism means we have to sell things in this economy to be successful. But you've also got to realize that even sometimes people will sell you things that don't benefit you, but that you'll want because you're human. Why is there a huge chocolate chip industry? Do you think chocolate chip cookies are really going to better your life that much? No, they just know you like sweets because you're programmed to like high-calorie foods because we come from a time when we didn't know the next meal was going to be from. So guess what? Your music and your movies are programmed the same thing. If you notice, they're usually about the same thing. Get a girl, get a guy, spend a lot of money. I look like this. I'm that cool. I'm that good. That's usually what it's about if you break down the songs. I can't listen to a lot of music these days because they ain't talking about shit. I'm just being honest. Like, I got to listen to old Michael Jackson, some Thriller, some Off the Wall. It's just, I just can't do it because they're always talking about the same thing. But it's sad because some people get their mentoring about how to live life through that. Because if you hear this over and over, guess what you're going to start thinking? And then if you start thinking it, guess what you're going to start creating in your life? Who is mentoring you? It's a good question to ask you guys. Fired up, man. New month, a lot of people are like focused in. I love it. I'm gonna take everybody off mute. Let's get some energy. Let's go. October's here.
Welcome to the fourth quarter.
Let's get it. Fourth quarter, baby. Let's go.